December 5th, 1945. A bright, calm afternoon over Florida. 5 Navy planes take off for a simple training run. A few hours later, nothing. No wreckage, no bodies, no radio call for help that makes any sense. 5 planes and 14 men. Gone, swallowed by a patch of ocean that would soon get a name that still makes people whisper. The Bermuda Triangle. There's just one tiny problem with the world's scariest patch of sea. It isn't real. Well, the sea is real. The triangle is not. Let me explain. First, let's enjoy the legend, because honestly, it's a great story. Picture it, a cursed stretch of ocean between Florida, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico, where ships and planes simply blink out of existence. Cue the theories. Aliens beaming up boats like cosmic fishermen, a glowing underwater portal, the lost city of Atlantis reaching up with one grumpy tentacle to drag sailors down, giant sea monsters, time warps, magnetic death zones. By the time the legend was in full swing, the Bermuda Triangle wasn't a place anymore. It was a horror movie that happened to come with coordinates. But here's the first twist. That terrifying name? Nobody used it until 1964. A writer dropped the phrase, the deadly Bermuda Triangle, into a magazine to spice up an article. 10 years later, an author named Charles Berlitz wrote a whole book about it, and that book sold millions of copies. So the ancient mystery that supposedly haunted sailors for centuries was, in fact, about as old as the color television. The monster wasn't summoned from the deep. It was summoned from a publisher who wanted to sell books. And boy, did it work. So let's do the one thing the legend never wanted anyone to do. Let's check the numbers. When you actually count the disappearances, the Bermuda Triangle is, shockingly, average. The U.S. Coast Guard says it doesn't lose more ships and planes there than anywhere else. And here's the real kicker. Lloyd's of London, the giant insurance company that literally makes its money by knowing exactly how dangerous things are, does not charge ships a single extra cent to sail through it. Think about that. If there were a real monster out there eating boats, the insurance company would be the first to panic. They didn't, because there is nothing to panic about. But Flight 19, you cry. Those 5 planes, explain that one. Okay, let's. On that day in 1945, the flight leader became convinced his compass was broken and that he was flying over the wrong sea. He wasn't. He was fine. But certain he was lost, he led the whole squadron the wrong way, out over the open Atlantic, away from land, until the planes ran out of fuel and went down in deep, rough water, in the dark. No portal, no aliens. Just a terrible human mistake, made worse by bad weather. And the wreckage? It sank into water thousands of feet deep in a sea that is extremely good at hiding things. Which brings us to the real villains of this story, and they are gloriously, beautifully boring. Villain 1, the Gulf Stream. This is basically a river running inside the ocean, a powerful, warm current that tears through the area at serious speed. A small boat that gets into trouble can be dragged miles away within hours. By the time anyone searches the spot where it sank, the evidence has already left the scene. The Gulf Stream is the ocean's getaway driver. Villain 2, the weather. This region gets sudden, violent storms and waterspouts, basically tornadoes made of seawater, that can appear in minutes and vanish just as fast. Throw in the tropical hurricanes that roll through, and you've got a place that can turn deadly in the blink of an eye, then look completely innocent by the time a rescue plane arrives. Villain 3, and this is the uncomfortable one, us. The Bermuda Triangle sits right on top of some of the busiest shipping and flight paths on the entire planet. Thousands upon thousands of boats and aircraft cross it every single year. More traffic means more accidents, not because the place is cursed, but because of simple math. Flip a coin 1,000,000 times and you'll get some spooky-looking streaks. That isn't magic, that's just a lot of coins. So put it all together, a busy patch of ocean, a current that hides the evidence, storms that strike without warning, deep water that swallows the wreckage, and a few honest human mistakes. Sprinkle a catchy name on top, let a best-selling book do the rest, and congratulations, you have built a monster out of math and marketing. And yet, we probably shouldn't laugh too hard, because behind the silly theories are real people. Flight 19 was 14 young men who never came home. And the rescue planes sent out to find them? It vanished too. 13 more lives, almost certainly lost to a fuel explosion in midair, not to a curse. The legend turned their deaths into a campfire story. The truth is quieter and sadder. The sea is enormous, the weather can be cruel, and sometimes good people are simply lost to it. No villain required. So the next time someone leans in and whispers to you about the deadly Bermuda Triangle, you can just smile, because the only thing it ever truly made disappear was the truth, hidden behind a really, really good story. But if you think this is the only unsolved mystery that was quietly invented by someone with a book to sell, oh, that is a whole other episode.